Unit cubes and volume. Volume is the amount of space inside a three-dimensional shape, and that's measured in cubic units. So when we're talking about a 3D shape, our units are three-dimensional, so that's why they are cubic. And some examples of that include inches cubed, that little 3 means cubed, centimeters cubed, yards cubed, and again, whenever you're finding the volume, the units will be in cubic units. So that's what that little 3 is. When we find volume, we need to take our length times our width times our height to get that measurement. You'll also see it as LWH. L is just cursive, so you don't get it confused with a 1. So LWH, L times W times H gives us that volume. Now there's one type of problem that we will look at that involves finding the volume of rectangular prisms by packing it with cubes. So you're taking your prism and breaking it into these tiny little cubes that have different measurements. So first step, you need to determine the number of smaller cubes that will be packed along each side. So you need to see how many of those cubes fit in the length, width, and the height. Then you're going to determine the total number of smaller cubes that will fit the prism. So once you figure out how much fit in each side, you'll take those three numbers for length, width, and height and multiply them together. That'll get you that total number of cubes. Third step is just to find the volume of the prism using the total number of cubes. So you just have to do your length times width times height. So let's look at this first example here. I have a rectangular prism, has a length of 2.5 inches, width of 2 inches, and height of 1.5 inches. How many small cubes with the side lengths of 1/2 can fit? What is the volume? So first, we are going to take this length, that is 2.5 inches, and we're going to divide it into those 1/2 inch cubes. So we have to take 2.5 divided by 1/2 because we want to see how many fit in there. So I need to change this 2.5 to an improper fraction. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1, 5. So I have 5 over 2. So I have 5 over 2 divided by 1/2. Now I do my keep, change, flip. I keep the 5 over 2. I change division to multiplication, and I flip 1 over 2 to 2 over 1. Now here I can simplify my diagonal. 5 and 1 doesn't simplify, but 2 and 2 I can divide by 2. I get 1 and 1. So I multiply across. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 1, 1. 5 over 1 equals 5. So for my length, I need 5 of those little cubes. Now we're going to repeat that process for our width. My width is 2 inches, so I'm going to take that 2 inches and divide it into those 1/2 cubes. So I need to take 2, put it over 1, and now I can do my keep my 2 over 1, change division to multiplication, flip 1 over 2 to 2 over 1. 2 times 2, 4, 1 times 1, 1, 4 over 1 equals 4. So my width is going to take 4 of those 1/2 inch cubes. Now I have my height. My height is 1.5 inches, so I'm going to take 1.5 and divide it by 1/2. I need to change my 1.5 to an improper fraction, so 2 times 1, 2, plus 1, 3. So 3 over 2. And now I do my keep, change, flip. So keep the 3 over 2, change division to multiplication, flip 1 over 2 to 2 over 1. 3 and 1 doesn't simplify, but 2 and 2 I can divide by 2, so I get 1. And then I multiply across. 3 times 1, 3. 1 times 1, 1. 3 over 1 equals 3. Now that I have all of my lengths and how many, all my sides and the number of cubes that I can fit in there, I need to multiply them. Okay, so I'm going to figure out my total number of cubes. And now in order to do that, I just need to multiply these three numbers. So I'm going to take 5 times 4 times 3. Well, 5 times 4 is 20, and then I just have to take 20 times 3. So 20 times 3 gives me 60. So I need 60 small cubes. Now the last part is asking me to find my volume. Okay, so last step is to find volume. In order to find volume, remember you have to take your length times your width times your height. So I just need to multiply 2.5 times 2 times 1.5. So I have 2.5 times 2 times 1.5. And before I can multiply them, I'm going to change them all to improper fractions. So 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1, 5. So I have 5 over 2. And then 2 over 1. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1, 3. So 3 over 2. Now I'm going to go ahead and multiply across. 5 times 2 is 10. Times 3 is 30. And then 2 times 1, 2 times 2, 4. So I have 30 over 4. And I'm going to divide top and bottom by 2 to simplify. So I get 15 over 2. And you need to change that to a mixed number. So divide 15 by 2 and you should get 7 1/2. So 7 1/2, and then my units would be inches cubed. The next example, we are just going to go and find volume. So I have a rectangular prism with sides 1 1/4 inches, 3 inches, and 2.5 inches. So volume is length times width times height. So I'm going to take 1 1/4, multiply it by 3, and multiply that by 2.5. So I need to change all my numbers to improper fractions. So 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so 5 over 4. 3 over 1, and then 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1, 5, so I have 5 over 2. Now I'm going to multiply across. 5 times 3 is 15, times 5 gives me 75. 4 times 1, 4 times 2 is 8, so I have 75 over 8. Now I need to change this to an improper fraction, so I'm going to do 75 divided by 8. Goes in there 9 times. 9 times 8, 72. Subtract and I get 3, so my remainder is 3/8. So my answer is 9 3/8, and then I just need my label. It's inches, and we're talking about volume, so it's inches